You are listening to the Shemiras Einayim podcast. Chizuk and practical help to overcome our most difficult nisayon.
A couple things that I wanted to discuss today, just to continue on with our topic. I want to talk about a chelik of halachot and a chelik of chizuk. The chelik of halacha, there are those groups out there that don't believe that this exists here, yeah, that this siman in Shulchan Aruch exists, yeah. Some people have kiviyachol cut it out of Shulchan Aruch, but I will read to you both from the Shulchan Aruch and from the Mishnah Berurah. First, the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch in siman in Sefer Eben HaEzer, siman Chof Aleph says, Tzarich Adam litrachek mehanoshim ma'od ma'od. Ma'od ma'od. Too ma'od, yeah? V'asr likrotz biyadav o beraglav lirmos be'enav le'echad meharayos. Just so you should know, arayos means chi of kares. So a nida is also a chi of kares. And basically, every girl who is not married above the age of 12 can be considered to be a nida. And if she is married and not to you, then she's an eshes ish. If she's married to you, there are a whole different set of dinim. A person to their own wife is there a whole different set of dinim. And Bez Hashem, when either have you gotten there and we've discussed about it, or you've discussed it with other people, or when you get there, we can discuss it then. Other than that, basically this falls, all women fall into this category above the age of 12, minus one's mother, grandmother, daughter, and to a certain degree, sister. To a certain degree. Sister is a little bit an aunt, and certainly aunts is also a problem. Sister is a different, its own unique thing. I'm not going to discuss that right now. You can't look at her beauty. You can't look at her beauty. Oh, that's a different topic. Dating is a special topic, which I hope as Hashem will get to. We're not going to discuss it today.
Now it's general when you go on the street.
Yeah, we're talking about stop. Yeah. Smelling her perfume. What does it mean, omdos ala kvisa? That they're standing there, they're washing, they're doing the laundry. This is a reference to what the Gemara in Baba Basra says, that you're not allowed to walk by a place where women are doing laundry. The reason is because it used to be women did laundry in the river. And in order to do that, they would pick up their skirts and they would pick up their sleeves so that certain parts of their bodies, which are normally covered, were uncovered. And that's what it means that you can't look at the women who are standing there doing the laundry, because it means looking at parts of their bodies that are supposed to be covered and they are right at that point not covered. That's also why going to a beach is certainly not okay, because you're basically doing the exact same thing. Even to look at her clothing. Now, I'm not looking at her body, I'm looking at her clothing. Even if she's not wearing them. Meaning, if you pass by the dry cleaners, and outside the dry cleaners is a dress, and you recognize that dress is a dress of such and such woman, and I know what she looks like in that dress, you're not even allowed to look at that dress. That's what it says. What? So let's see what is the source for these dinim? Yeah. So yeah, but it's more than that. We discussed already in the past that there are two psukim that discuss this. The main one is a pasuk we say every day, twice a day. A little bit lo sasuru acharei lebavachem acharei einechem. And there's another one, Nishmarta Michol Davara, which the Gemara in Avodah Zarah learned also, or reference to looking at things you're not supposed to look at. So yes, it seems like these are daraisa. When it comes to certain of the inyanim over here, at the end, he does say that you get malchus mardus for it. Yeah, you don't get malchus arboim, only malchus mardus for it. And let's see if there's an explanation why it's only malchus mardus for it. Yeah, so he quotes a Gemara in Shabbos who says it's a daraisa. Ayin Rashi sham dira maskol mistakel v'sham hu below sase. The lo titchatin bam, which is a reference to goyim, but I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong one. Echad penuya. Maybe that's the reference to. No, you know what? At the end of the halacha, it says over here, it says v'amechavin le'echad me'elu advarim makanus o makas mardus. Chen kasav Rambam, because of Magi Mishnah, Shalamin me'ahud dechaliv mishum al tikrov pescha besa, chen bekulam.
Because it's a Rabban Histaklus, because it also says v'nishmartem and los asur, so that's why it can't be marked from the Torah.
I'm not sure. I mean, the Goin brings here that maybe it's an esmachta. The pasuk is an esmachta. L'maisa, whether it's a daraisa or darabanan, it's certainly awesome. Certainly awesome. There's no excuse to say it's darabanan, and because it's darabanan, it's okay. Yeah, that's not an excuse. The Mishnah Berurah in Siman Ayin Hey. First, the Shulchan Aruch. What does the Shulchan Aruch say? He says as follows: Tefach megula be'isha b'malkum shedarcha lechasos. If there's a tefach of a woman that is normally covered, part of her body that's normally covered, and a tefach of that area is uncovered. Afilu hi ishto, even if this is your own wife. Also, likro kriya shema kenegda. You're not allowed to say kriya shema if it's in front of you. V'yesh oimrim, says the Ramah, dafka beishto, aval beisha acheres. That's only in front of your wife. But when it comes to a different woman, beisha acheres, afilu pachos mitefach habe erba. Even if it's less than a tefach, it's considered to be erba. The Mishnah Berurah writes on this in Sif Cotton Zion, pachot mitefach v'im hashok megula. If the thigh is revealed, yesh ormim dafilu beishto, even if it's your own wife, it's also. But pachut metefach, even less than a tefach, also the cross connector. Shu mekom hirhur yoiser mishar evarim, because that's the place where a person has more hirhurim than other places. V'chol zeh lo ayri el inyan iser kriyashma. Everything that we're talking about here is only with regards to the halachos of kriyashma, saying kriyashma in front of it. The iser hu laharbe poskim likros neged hamegula. According to many poskim, the iser is that you cannot say kriya shema next to an area of the body that's usually covered, and now it's uncovered. Avilu below mechavim leistakule, even if you don't have intentions to actually look, but it's there. Aval le'inyan ister histaklus, but with regards to the ister to look, lekule alma hamistakel beisha afilu be'etzba ktana kevan shemistakel ba lehonos. Oh, this is an important point. Kevan shemistakel ba lehonos. If the intention is to have hana, you're looking to have hana. Oiver belav delo sasura acharei einechem. V'omru shafilu yesh biyadu Torah is very harsh. What he says over here. Afilu yesh biyadu Torah ma'asim tovim lo yinaka midina shel gehenim. V're'iyah ba'alma lefi tumo below neneshari. But if you just see without looking, and you're not getting hana, you just happen to notice. Or you're talking to somebody, you have to talk to a woman, she's the receptionist at the Doar. She's in the Misrad, at the Misrad Apnim. You needed to go to get a new passport. Yeah, because you're going for a chasana for your, cousin in Australia. And you need to get a new passport because yours expired from the time when you were 5 years old. So you needed a new one. And it happens to be the lady sitting there across it's a woman, it's a lady. Yeah, so you have to actually, yeah. So here what we're saying is Histaklus b'shvil hana is awesome. What he says is Re'iyah ba'alma lefi tumo.
Maybe
below
that's-
nene.
Below nene.
that's
But
a
what
normal
about?
one.
But
That's
what
when
about?
she's covered up.
He is nene,
So
but it's not his fault.
So-
it was Histaklus Ba'alma.
so that's it. When you're looking for hana, so there's a very fine line here. If it happens for 1 second, yeah, you notice it. So now, what am I going to continue to do? Am I going to continue to look? Well, am I getting hana? Well, if you're getting hana, that's a big problem. So you cannot continue to look. So what should you do? The first second, it wasn't your fault. Why is it wasn't your fault? Because I didn't know that was going to be there, and now I know. Now I know it's there.
שיסתכל למטה, יסתכל ככה. או בצד.
Once I know. Once I know.
לא צריך ללכת.
Yeah.
לא, אסור
What?
להסתכל, לא?
We're not gonna go through all the halachas. Now let me be clear. We are not going through all the halachas today. I just want to bring out a very important point. This is halacha. Yeah? This is not a midas chasidus. This is not something that fill in the blank do, yeah? That every Jew needs to keep this halacha. Every Jew. I'll just tell you a quick story. A friend of mine said there was a time where I was in an area where the makolit in that area employed women who are not tsunua. And I was complaining to a friend about it. Maybe we should go to the Rav and tell him the kupa'it. And we're going to maybe force the owner of this particular store to change or make his workers dress more tsunua. And he made a very interesting point to me. He said to me, I'll tell you the truth. They're not the ones that I have the Yetzer Hara for. I have a Yetzer Hara for the tsunua ones that get all dressed up. Those are the ones that I have a problem with. Yeah? The ones that are dressed in a pritza stick away, so like they're not even on the table. It's easy. It's easier to not look at them. Okay. There's certain gedarim that you need to understand that women live in this world too. They do, and they do need to do their best to not be eye-catching, and if they don't do that, then they're going to be responsible for the way they dress. Maybe their husbands also. But they do live in this world. And they are allowed to walk around in the street. They are. And they're allowed to go about their business. And as long as they're dressed in a tsunua way, so the responsibility now rests only on the man, because the woman is doing what she's supposed to do. If a woman is not doing what she's supposed to do, then yes, she will also be part of the chelik of the blame, to take the blame. But if she is doing what she's supposed to do, so then we cannot blame her.
אם אחת מדברת בפלאפון בקול, זה גם problem.
Okay. I'm not here to talk about that now. I want to bring out just this point. Hana is where the problem is. This is, you see clearly over here, in Shulchan Aruch, Mishnah Berurah. Looking at these places is halacha. It's not like, I'm going to decide to do everything. And this is just something like, it's not important.
יחידי סגולה.
It's a good idea. Yeah. When I was growing up, it was an option. You could be shomer negiah or not shomer negiah. You could choose. You're not shomer. Okay, I am. You're not. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. There's still people like that, but maybe it's because they don't know that this is halacha. Do you eat pork? Well, I mean, you have an option. You can. I don't. You do. So, okay, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, some people. So it's optional, right? Everybody has the right to choose. It's not what it is. It's not what it is. This is halacha. So the people who either don't care about it, decided to cut it out of Shulchan Aruch, decide to ignore it, they're doing clearly the wrong thing. The wrong thing. I want to put that out clear. Go through every detail of the halacha. We are not going to do right now. There are certain places where there's more kulas, certain places where there are even more chumras. And I'm not here to discuss, at least not in this year, what are the parameters. I just want to establish we are dealing with potentially what the Mishnah Berurah called a Issa Daraisa. Why exactly the Shulchan Aruch only says Makas Mardus on it, we can discuss. But believe me, Makas Mardus hurts just as much as regular Malchus.
What's the difference?
Yeah?
What's
The difference is Makas Mardus is the Rabbanon.
No, but what's Makas Mardus?
Lemaise, because Baruch Hashem, we are a Chabura people, and anybody else listening, I got Chizuk from somebody who came to me and told me that they were listening to some of the Yeshua and they got Chizuk. So I said he gave me Chizuk by telling me listening to the Shir and that he got Chizuk. We are a Chabura of people who want to work on this very, very chashuv mitzvah. So we're here to give Chizuk. The first thing, at least in today's Shir, that you need to know is just the fact that you want to work on it already brings nachas ruach. The very fact that this is something that we're conscious of and that it's something that's important to us and that we want to do the Ratan Hashem is already bringing nachas ruach. And the fact that we live in a world where it is so difficult, Kadosh Baruch Hu realizes that. Kadosh Baruch Hu knows exactly how difficult the nisayon is. And in our door, very possible that this is the hardest nisayon to deal with. And it can come up in many different ways. A lot of these things are not voluntary. I did not want to do this. I'm walking in the street. I did not intend to do it. And sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes we have to deal with sometimes things are done on purpose. And this is something that happens. When something happens on purpose, when we do something on purpose, that's a very, very difficult, it's a very difficult place for a person to be. On the one hand, he wants to work on himself. On the one hand, he wants to work on himself. And on the other hand, I did this on purpose. And not once, and not twice. I did it again and again and again. And what am I supposed to do about this? How am I supposed to deal with this? What can I do? And there's a certain element, and that's one of the main things I want to talk about today, is busha. Person is embarrassed. You need to know that busha is a positive trait. Busha is a good thing. Busha, by Shonim, the Gemara says in Yevamos that there are three midas. The three midas that you know a person, a member of Klal Yisrael has. One of them is by Shonos. That he's a person who feels guilty. He feels bad when he does something that he knows is wrong. That busha is a good thing. As long as it's used in a good way. Busha can be used in a bad way. It can bring a person to depression. It could bring a person to just giving up. On the other hand, busha can be used in a good way. One of the examples of how busha can be used in a good way is something called web chaver. What is web chaver? Web chaver is, there are certain people that have a hard time with putting filters on their internet because of work-related things. But they still want to be protected from going to places on purpose, that really they don't want to see, but they have a Yetzer Hara, and like we've discussed many times, a normal man has a normal Yetzer Hara, and just one click or two clicks and already you're there, and the Yetzer Hara is pushing you, and it's normal, but I don't want it. Oh, but I did it on purpose. So this thing, web chaver, the way it works is that wherever you go to different internet sites, it gets recorded, and it gets sent to your web chaver, your friend, who gets to see all the places that you went. And the quality of busha over here is used to prevent a person from going to those places, because he knows, if I go to this and this website, that website, and this website, my friend is going to see. He's going to know. And I will be incredibly embarrassed. So busha here is used in a way where I can harness it and protect myself from doing something because of that embarrassment. It's a wonderful thing. In our door, people are trying to destroy busha. They're trying to destroy it.
What do you mean?
How are people trying to destroy Busha in our door? Unfortunately, this has already hit the Jewish world, and even, quote unquote, some people who consider themselves to be Orthodox, that they publicly are declaring that they do Isuri Daraisa, and they're proud of it. They've come out of the closets, so to speak, as some people call it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Even, quote unquote, from Orthodox people, yeah, are proclaiming publicly that they act in ways that the Torah considers to be a toeva.
But then they become
And what that does is that the busha, the shame that they had that was preventing them from doing any avera, now is gone. Because the whole busha was that people should, I don't want people to find out. I don't want anybody to know. And adrabah, now I'm doing it publicly. And not only that, but now you have to respect me for it too. This is considered to be a valid life choice, according to these people. And you now need to respect me for my Yetzer Hara. You need to have respect that I have this Yetzer Hara, and that I don't even know that they act on it or not, but that I am this way. The idea of busha is now being crushed. And it's gone. And theoretically, it could be expanded to other places also. A person could theoretically say, I don't care if my friend sees it. I don't care if my friend sees that I went on this and this website. I don't care. That's a terrible, horrible thing. A person loses his whole sense of why. Why are you doing that? Because you want to crush it. If I make a dugma, yeah, a dugma lama davar doime. I've heard this from people. Baruch Hashem, I've never experienced it myself, but I've heard it from people that a person who decides that he doesn't want to keep Torah mitzvahs anymore, he doesn't want to keep, so he goes and start being Machal Shabbos.
First.
Yeah. The first time that he goes to be Machal Shabbos, first time, he mamish terrified. He thinks that the bolt of lightning is going to come out of the sky and strike him down in that second. Yeah? Mamish terrified. Even the second time, even the third time.
That's it.
But there are people who purposely continue to be Machal Shabbos, even in places where they don't need to, so that they dull this sense of busha. They dull this fear, so they're not scared anymore, so that they can go about doing what they want to do without having that sense of guilt, without being embarrassed.
Exposure therapy.
Lamaise, this is the same idea. This is a wonderful midah. Busha is a wonderful midah. If people have a Yetzer Hara, and they're scared that somebody's going to find out about my Yetzer Hara, or that they're scared that somebody will find out what I went to look at, that's a very good way to prevent you from doing any of these things. It's a wonderful way of doing it. We need to harness that. We need to use that. So if a person feels that way, he shouldn't be a reason to be depressed. It's a reason. I'm a Jew. I feel embarrassed. That's the way a Jew is supposed to feel. I'm not going to say you need to throw a party for it, but that is a good thing. You feel it's wrong. Once you feel it, you don't have to stick in it. You don't have to stay in that place. We can move on. We can daven to Hashem. We can make a plan. We can work hard. We can push ourselves to fight even these people, Rahmanul Islam, who have issues that aren't the norm, that have Yetzer Haras that aren't regular Yetzer Haras. they have the opportunity also to overcome their Yetzer Haras, to fight their Yetzer Haras. Maybe some of them might need a little bit more professional help, but they also can do it, as long as they stay within the realm of what it means to be a Jew. The Midah of Baishonos, which Chazal tell us is one of the main Midas of a Jew. And a person can overcome that too, even if his Yetzer Hara is different than other people's Yetzer Hara. We've spoken about it many times, that this is normal. It's normal to have these feelings. The question is what do we do with them? How do I deal with them? But once we already know this is normal, and once I already know that it's the Yetzer Hara that's pushing me, and I know that I need to fight it. So you're way, way, way past most people in the world. This is a major, major step. A decision that I am going to work on this. A decision that this is probably the biggest problem as an individual that a person has daily. Yeah, the Chazal tell us, Rubam begezel, Rubam begezel, miut barayis, v'kulam ba'avak lashon hara. I think in our door it maybe have changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that arayis is become
Not Rove,
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
right.
It's become probably the biggest problem on a daily basis anywhere. Maybe in.
But Avak Lashon is still a big thing.
I'm not
Everyone
saying
says-
that. Lashon hara, yeah, we can learn Sefer Chavetz Chaim too. and I'm not.
חרדים ציבור.
I'm not-
ציבור חרדי גם זה מיעוטם באריות היום, זה לא?
זה
Not
לא-
true.
זה לא מיותר.
Not
כל אחד יש לו ניסיונות.
Yeah, we have to understand. You have to
אז
understand.
השתנה.
Even in the Olam HaCharedi, yeah, where it's a little bit easier because people should be dressed in a more, women should be dressed in a more tsanua way, and because of that, it should be easier for a man. It doesn't mean that a man in the Haredi world doesn't have a Yetzer Hara. And it certainly doesn't mean that a man in the Haredi world doesn't have access to things that anybody else, כאילו, היכולת, yeah,
גישה.
to get these things also. He also the Yetzer Hara. Maybe it's a little bit easier if you live in a community where it's just not as rampant as most communities in the world. Yeah, you live in certain places where it's just not a problem. But for most of us, the great majority of people, we live in a place, we live in places where this is a nisayon, a big nisayon. Maisa, I want to finish up. We're already getting close to the end.
What's a rampant?
Harbe. Okay. I want to finish off with one nakuda, and that is that a lot of times that things happen to us. We didn't even want it to happen, and it happens. For example, you're walking down the street, and this person passes by, or decides to walk right in front of you, or sometimes it doesn't. Not even like that. Sometimes you're in the middle of Shemona Esrei, and boom, something pops into your head. Something you shouldn't be thinking about pops into your head. How did that happen? Am I such a Russia that in the middle of Shemona Esrei, that boom, I start thinking about, what is that? Well, how did that happen? It's one thing, that person who passes by in the street, they're probably going somewhere. They're not planning to dafka look for me so that they walk right in front of me. Yeah, but there are enough out there that just randomly it's just going to end up happening. But why, when I'm standing in Shemona Esrei, does this thought or this picture jump into my head? Why does that happen? It's not just that it's the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara can't stand it when a Jew has an aliyah in Ruchnis. When a person is standing in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom and he's speaking to Hashem in Tefillah, and a person is in Mis'aleh, Yetzer Hara can't stand that. He's losing. So he wants to get you. So he throws this he throws this at you. It doesn't show that you're a Rasha. Chas v'shalom. Adarabah. It shows that you're being mis'ala. You're going up. That's what it shows. It shows that you're doing something good. Yetzer hara can't stand it. So he needs to throw something at you to distract you, to make you think that your things are not going good. But we need to know something else, and this is very, very important. Kuda. Pictures and thoughts and these things, they have to come from someplace. That's why it's very, very important that we should not bring these things on ourselves, and we should make a plan how to keep away from them. Because once a picture is already in your head, it can come back. Once a person has already been exposed to certain things, those pictures, those thoughts, they always have the ability to boom, jump back into your head in a conscious way. Once they're in there, they stay. And they can always come back. So we need to do our best to make plans to keep them out in the first place. And if they jump in, we need to be able to, just like looking, the first thought, the first look. Oh, I didn't mean that. So I'm going to turn, or I'm going to do something else to make sure I don't look. Same thing with a thought. The first thought wasn't my fault. Yetzer hara put it in there. But are you going to continue to think about it? That is already the equivalent to the second look. Am I going to stay here, or am I going to try to get myself out of it? No, I'm going to focus back in the tefillah. No, I'm going to, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in tefillah. It could be anytime. L'maaseh, we should all, each one of us is a little bit different. And again, like I said many times before, take eitzes, come to me, you can come to the yeshiva, and go to any rav that you feel knows you, is comfortable with you. And every person has a little bit of a different type of yetzer hara. Every person's yetzer hara is this. Even within the realm of normal, there's a very wide range. They're very, very, very different. Make a plan, or the beginnings of a plan, and show Hashem. I know this is hard and it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try. And already, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has tremendous nachas.
Thank you for listening to this Foundations podcast production. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you know someone who this podcast might help, don't forget to let him know. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.